All right, guys, welcome back. Silent here with a little demonstration for you today. This is a little bit of a preview for Brother Derrick. I'm going to do a little demo here with a big panel that's on the screen right now that is just wrapped and clipped with that Yondu silver gray material. In the thumbnail for this video, I've made sure to put a picture of a little piece of that material against a standard white screen material. That is Elite Screens Cinewhite. So it's just showing you the color difference between that product and a standard white screen. So visually you can kind of get it a little bit more of a visual cue, because the pictures that are on Amazon for the product are a little bit misleading about the actual tone of the screen. So as you can see, it is a light gray screen, but it's not super dark or aggressive in picture quality, as you can see right here from the start. So you can see the white screen, just my standard white screen. I do have a lamp on next to me. I got the hallway lights on. So I'm not in total darkness down here. I have a little bit, just a standard lamp and some hallway light coming in. So visually in the room, you may not be able to see it on camera, but I can visually, with my eyes, see everything in this room that I need to see. It's not a complete blackout room, even though the camera's not going to really show that here at the screen, because in the design of this room, around the screen and towards the screen, I wanted the light to be very low, and where I sit off to the sides and behind me to have the ability to turn that light on towards the back of the room if I needed it. So that was how I kind of designed the lighting in the room. But you can see that the big panel there is, right off the bat, has very, very nice color. You can see a visual difference between it and a standard pull-down white screen. And then off to the right, there's another small panel, and that is Kenneth Bird's Black Phantom. So you can visually see a difference between the white screen that everything's up against, the panel there that is the Yondu material that that Brother Derrick is going to be getting on Tuesday, I believe, and then also Kenneth Bird's panel there with Black Phantom. I wanted to run through just a couple of little demonstrations as a preview for what Derrick can expect and what other people in the community can expect when you order something like this off of Amazon, and whether or not fabric versus a PVC style, that's what the pull-down screen is, and what Cinewhite, Cinegray, and those kind of materials are PVC style screens. The advantages of that is that you can dial in your focus and your sharpness. You can kind of dial that in, kind of tactile sharp, and tactile focus on, with my personal experience, the way that my eyes perceive it, on fabric screens, it's just a slight bit softer. Not that the images are blurry or unwatchable or anything like that. I mean, you can get really, really nice sharpness on fabric. And a matter of fact, just looking at this fabric from my seating distance here, I'm not seeing anything out of the way that would cause me any concern for recommending this to anybody. And not just Derrick, but anybody that wanted to use a fabric where paint isn't necessarily going to be the right choice for you in your space. Maybe you're dealing with brick walls. Maybe you're dealing with other challenges where taking a surface and painting it, or painting it, or hanging a screen is just not going to work. Fabric is a great alternative, because you can literally, as we've seen, you can literally tape it or tack it up on the wall, and then take some of that, like that velvet tape. I think it comes in as wide as 4 inches, I think I've seen in the past. And you can literally just tape up a black velvet border around your screen and get a really nice visual, complementary style in your room, get it look really, really nice in your space. So, and that's really the spirit of DIY. It's, everybody's got different challenges in their space. Everybody's got different preferences and things like that. And it's the ability for all of us out here to share this information with each other is really what makes this a stronger community, where we can show different paint products that are good value for the money. If that's going to be the option for you, we can also show different ways of using fabrics and different types of materials to make your own screen that aren't going to cost you a lot of money and give you a lot of bang for your buck and good performance. I look at it as sort of a large umbrella. Kind of everything can be under here that is cost effective and yet gives you good performance. What we don't want under the umbrella is products that are scams, like Kenneth Bird's paint lineup. I mean, you could tell right off the bat that what we're seeing color-wise, especially around the girl's face there in the middle, up on top, you can sort of see a difference there between the white, the gray material, the spandex kind of fabric, and then Kenneth Bird's paint. I mean, you can visually see that. So one thing I really admire, and I told Derrick this as well, is I like it when people, when they have an idea, they invest their time, they invest their money, and they experiment with that. And as they do that over time, you learn so much by experimentation. And I'm really excited for him to get this in and be able to show you this on a grander scale, a much bigger screen, in a different space that's not here, down here in my space. It's a different environment, it's a different place, different lighting conditions, and I'm really, really excited for him to be able to put this up on the wall and have that ability to show you guys something new and fresh. And I hope that he likes it and has a good time experimenting with it. Whether this works out for him and his situation and his preferences or not, he can always come back to this and use it for different demonstrations down the line. I love doing demonstrations, and I do demonstrations quite often off camera. I just do them for myself because I want to see, I'm interested, and I don't always have time to really get into it and make a video or whatever, but I do it for myself a lot. And once you get into doing these kinds of demonstrations, it becomes fun. It's just as fun and interesting for us as we shoot them and do them as it is for some of you guys out there in the community to watch them. And we learn just as much by doing as some guys learn from watching us. All of our different personalities and different backgrounds and different environments. Hopefully, the people that watch all of us are learning different little things from everybody out here. And if they're going to do a setup with two-piece projection, hopefully they have a little bit more of a footing, a solid footing of information and ideas and things like that they kind of have narrowed down their preferences, some of the challenges in their room, and they have a good start for this kind of investment. And that's why we do it. That's the love that we have for it. So I'm going to do just a couple of demonstrations here for you guys, and then to see this further, on Tuesday, check Derrick out, see how this works out for him, and see what he thinks about it, what he has to say about it, and then hopefully we all learn something moving forward. So we'll just go into the Samsung demo here really quickly. Of course, we got to get through the ads. This is YouTube, so they got to make their money. There you go. I mean, you can see, right away you can see, I'm seeing good color. I'm seeing a richer tone in color. It's a little bit darker, but it's not aggressive, right? And compared to Kenneth Bird stuff, the material itself cost around $40, right? And then with shipping, it's a little bit extra. But you can see that it's a far better choice than paying for something from Kenneth Bird, like the Black Phantom there. When it was on the shelf, on the site, I'll say, it was over $250 for 32 ounces. So $40 versus $250 plus, right? So you're saving a ridiculous amount of money by going with a simple fabric off of Amazon rather than buying something from Kenneth Bird. And you can see we're retaining that detail in the clouds there. It's, you can see that it's darker than the white screen, but it's a very balanced image. The colors are nice, the colors are rich, the detail is there. And again, for me visually, with fabrics, I noticed that fabrics tend to come off a slight bit softer, but you can correct that by just upping your regular sharpness a notch or two. And some projectors like Epson's, my experience with Epson projectors, they have something called image enhancement, and they have like level 1 through 5. typically I would run with maybe 1 or 2 on a standard white screen. But if I had a full screen with this material, I may move it up to 3 or 4 and just sort of like see how things look and just sort of dial it in to get it where it feels like it's tactile sharp. So yeah, you'll see some differences, but overall, it's a very, very nice panel there. You know, for me, yes, in this space, I prefer the white screen, but as you can see, the colors and the detail retention and all that stuff looks very, very nice on the Yondu material. And of course, when you compare any of this stuff, white, and that's the thing. That's why I chose to do this, not only just to kind of preview and just give a little bit more information for Derrick as he prepares for this, demonstration next week, but also because Kenneth Bird has been blatantly attacking, white screens and gray screens and all this stuff, but yet down here in my space, a white screen and a simple light gray fabric off of Amazon are absolutely destroying his paint product. It can't keep up, right? And if the black paint was doing everything that Kenneth Bird says that it does, it should be able to overtake everything. Why is it my white screen or the gray fabric there on the big panel? Why isn't it washed out? Nothing's rigged on my camera. It's in default mode, baby. I just turn it on and shoot. I'm not adjusting anything, right? I'm not adjusting anything at all. Let's go back to our demonstrations and let's just take a look at skin tones really quickly. You see the nice lady there, nice skin tones on the white screen and the panel there. You can see the white level difference, but it's not over the top. It's not over the top at all. You can see that skin tones and colors are richer, a little bit darker in terms of luminosity, but they still have a natural look to them. Whereas on Kenneth Bird's panel there with Black Phantom, you can see that poor girl, that pretty girl's face is just completely darkened to the point where it's just, for me, would be completely unwatchable at this point. And remember that Kenneth Bird's products in the past have all been labeled for specifications with a minimum lumens of 1,000 lumens minimum. My JVC behind me, off to the side here, is 1,300 lumens. So I've got an overhead, realistically, at the screen of about 200 to 250 lumens. Okay, because my iris is all the way open. It's not closed or dimmed down or anything for the demonstration. It's completely open. So at this size screen, from the distance, it's probably around 1,200-ish. At the low end, maybe 1,150 lumens at the screen for 85 inches. And this is what's comfortable for me. Some people might prioritize bigger size. Some people might prioritize other things to make a screen choice. But, for me, this screen size is completely natural, and it's comfortable for me to watch. I don't find myself moving my head around or moving my eyes around too much. I can focus in on the screen. It's a nice size. It gives me the immersivity that I'm looking for. It gives me the performance that I'm looking for down here in this space. And the Yondu material there is keeping up quite nice. Right in line with what I see from other gray tone screens like Cinegray or the Carl's Place and standard gray screens and things like that. So it's holding up very, very well. Very, very nice. It's got really nice imagery. And I remember when I first looked at this, I looked at it when I had the Epson 5050 down here, and I really, really liked it because I was looking at it with the intention of, I really wanted to be able to put speakers behind my screen at some point. I was trying to figure out how I can do that. So one of the reasons why I was looking at different sheets of fabrics during that time period was I was kind of looking down the road when it was in my head to have a bigger project in mind for this space down here. I said it would really be nice to be able to have the left, center, and right speakers behind the screen and have that sound be coming from the screen as opposed to off from the sides or down below or over the top or whatever. I just wanted that. I was really looking into doing that kind of a setup. And I was quite impressed with the Yondu material here, and that was good. And because it's acoustic, you can put speakers behind it. Sound will travel through it. That's a big plus for somebody looking to do that, and that makes this particular choice quite interesting later on down the line for somebody who may not be able to use that part of it right away, but later on down the line you can still use the same material and put your speakers behind the screen, which is really cool. It adds a whole new level. From what I've heard and what I've seen and listened to other people talk about, having speakers, identical size speakers for your left, right, and center behind the screen, it like changes the game in terms of sound immersivity. Like, it just really changes it up for you. So that's why I bought this, with the intention of doing that, and I was experimenting with it. But as I've kind of picked up on little things from Derricks' videos, that he prefers the white version, so he's looking for bright colors and pure, more natural skin tones and white levels and things like that. But also he was really looking for a gray fabric that wouldn't wrinkle and that would be, easy to hang up, not a pain in the ass, didn't have any designs or anything like that in it. So I thought about this right away, and I reached out. And despite all the differences that we've had in the past, guys, if you're going to grow in life, you have to be able to move on. You have to be able to let water go under the bridge and let everything go, and try to make peace with people and do the right thing and try to be helpful, try to be useful. And that's why I offered that, because Derrick has been doing really good exposure videos on Ken. He's seen Ken's actions, and it's changed the perspective. So when he came into the space a year ago in February, he had a completely different perspective than what he has now about the space and what some of us out here have been trying to do all along. And he's seen Ken for what he is. He's seen the product for what it is. Not necessarily by what we've shown, but by what Ken's shown. And that means the world in terms of growing from one perspective to another. And I respect that. And we all should be able to take experiences, good and bad, and be able to grow from it, move on, and be better out of the other end of the tunnel. And that's my goal by reaching out with just an offer, because I could see how much he likes doing experiments and doing demonstrations. I like doing the same thing. I respect that he had an idea and he took the ball and he ran with it. I've seen a lot of people out here with ideas and then they never do anything about it. And at least Derrick, whether you agree with it or not, he had an idea, whether it's new or old or whatever it is your opinion is, he took that idea and he did something about it. Not everybody does that. And I can respect that effort. I can respect the fact that I can literally hear him when he talks about stuff. I can see how much he's grown and how much he's learned by doing. You learn by doing. You learn better by hands-on. And that's exactly what he's done, and I applaud that effort. And he's not trying to sell it to you. He's just showing and sharing his experiences, which we all have the right to do out here. So he's been doing a great job with the channel. He's been showing Ken for what he is by the actions he does towards his family, by the actions he does towards his customers, by the performance of the products. He's able to see the same things that we see when he does those demonstrations. So I think it's appropriate to, if I think that something like this might help him with his solution and maybe help him in some way, why not? Why not mend that bridge and be helpful and be useful to somebody, regardless of what's happened in the past? Let it go. It's not good to carry around that stuff anyway. It's not a good thing to do. But this is a really good material. I think it's pretty cool. I think it's affordable. I think it's useful. I think it lends an opportunity for folks who can't do paint or can't do a standard screen or whatever. There's different ways of doing things in the DIY space. That's the nature of it. As long as people are feeling like they got a good value for their money and they got good performance for their money, and it works for them and it works for their preferences and it works for their space and they're happy with it, there are no wrong answers. So that's the way I look at it. Let's do one more, just one more. Let's do, why don't we just go ahead and do these couple right here, because I want to be able to show that, since white screens just completely wash out. Why not do these three? And then we'll wrap it up really quickly. This has gone on a little bit longer than I had anticipated. Sorry about that. But here is the Skyworth food demonstration. So you can compare it here on this video. You compare all these things together. Looks pretty good to me. I'm still able to see a nice image on the white screen, on the gray material, and of course you got Black Phantom. You got Kenneth Berg goo over there to the right. Look at that. Wow. I'll tell you what, let me get up here and I'll try to get a little closer for you so you can get a little angle. And this isn't even super tight or anything, but you can kind of see, here's a kind of an off-angle view for you. You see the colors they're pretty comparable. There's just a little bit here that I could have made this just a little bit tighter, but I just clipped it on. You know, I kind of did this in about 10 minutes just to kind of get this ready to show. And then I'll come back. Up close, I'll come back just for shits and giggles, right? And again, it's going to be kind of interesting to see this on a much larger scale. I think he's going to be using the whole material, which is actually quite big. I would say comfortably you should be able to get anywhere from 110 to 120 comfortably. I think the 130 is like if you really stretch it, out to the max, you know, that you could probably get upwards of 130, maybe close to it. But I don't think you'll have any problem there in terms of size. I think it should be just fine. And it's lightweight too, which is great because you're not trying to hold up a big heavy something up there. It should be, hopefully it's easy to work with. Get out to the side here really quickly. Get a different angle and just look at Kenny's mess here. Jeez Louise. Yeah, see, there's just no comparison. There's just no comparison there. Color-wise, look, nice skin tones. Very, very pleasant to look at. Not at all overkill whatsoever. Very, very nice. Come back here. Oh, sit down here. It's been a long day, fellas. Big, long day. All right. And we'll do that cottage here really quickly. Look at those colors on that gray panel. Very, very nice. Look on Ken's stuff, man. It's just so aggressive. It's just, there's no life in it. It's just so dull. The colors are skewed too. I mean, look at that. It's just, jeez. It's too much. It's just too much. And to think that product, if you wanted a quart of it at that time when Black Phantom was for sale, you'd have paid over $250 for 32 ounces of it. Now, price-wise, let's put this in perspective. 32 ounces of Black Phantom was just over $250, like $250 to $260 something. And that was for 32 ounces. That was for a quart, I believe. Now, he wants to charge people $250 for 20 ounces? I mean, come on. And let's go ahead and do that Starfield really quickly. I mean, I can see from here that the white and the gray panel are able to give just more brightness to the very smallest of stars there, where it kind of looks like there's a little bit lacking in this area. You can visually see that. It's like there's a lot of stars everywhere, and then when you look here, it just looks like some of these little smaller ones that are kind of like right in this area, you can see they don't really transition well onto that really, really absorptive black. I can visually see them here in the room, but they're really, really crushed, very, very low luminosity there. I'd rather be able to see everything and have a little bit less of a black, of a pure black. But again, preferences are like elbows. Everybody's got a pair, everybody's got a pair, or assholes, whatever that saying is, right? So there's the Starfield. Now, I'm just going to let it be there because I think you're going to be able to see a lot more on Tuesday when he gets this panel in, and hopefully you guys go and check him out as well. Thank you for joining me today. Really quickly, just to kind of give a little bit of a preview for the Yondu here and give a little bit more perspective on the situation as a whole. And thank you for your time. Thank you for your support on the channel and all that stuff. And for everybody that's put in the effort to try to tell their story if they've been taken advantage of by Ken, or you've covered a lie, or you've done anything to contribute to the whole, I really appreciate it. You're doing the right thing. Keep up the good work. There are a lot of talented people out here in the space, very knowledgeable people out here in the space. So take a little bit from everybody, because we all got different perspectives. We all come from different walks of life. We're all in different areas all around the world. So take what you can that's useful to you and apply it to make a better decision for you in your space and your investment. Because the reason why I do this down here is not for me necessarily. I mean, a big part of it is for me, if I'm being real, because I'm a movie guy. But I love to come down here when it's appropriate and come down here and watch movies with the kids and have that time with them. Whether it's upstairs playing games on the Series C panel, or down here in the space watching a movie, or just hanging out down here goofing off. It doesn't matter. It's quality time. Those are the important things that matter most. So Ken can whine and cry all day long on a weekend about how he's going to bulldoze my house and all this stuff. I don't care. The reality is, he's not going to be able to do anything. Even if he could, he would get shut down so quick because, again, YouTube is in court, and I have all of the evidence, all the emails, all the tracking of the funds that were made for the purchase. All that stuff is accounted for, and when push comes to shove, he'll be owing me at the end of the day. Not that I would get anything from that flunky, junky Kenny Winnie. All right, guys. Take care. We'll catch you later.